What's good, guys? I'm John the Chief, and this is gonna be my solo player's guide for Awakening. It'll help you for beating the map on solo, so that way you have an easier time. You can do it with 0 downs, and it'll be a lot easier in general. So, first things first is in this video I'm gonna be showing my loadout that I use, snippets of every single obelisk, full vanguards, full filling the Cortex with souls, full escape, and I'll be showing you my strategies, the little tricks that I use to make it easier, what I do and why I do it, so that way you guys can have the easiest possible time while playing this map trying to beat it solo. So let's begin. First thing first is that I like to start off the game going into each side path and trying to find a Venom X. Unfortunately, in this game, I did not find a Venom X at the beginning, so I didn't have one. But another reason why you go into each side path only for the first area is because you want the arc. You want an arc on your gun because it makes it a whole lot more powerful. And that is basically it. You want to keep going into each side path, see if you can make a Venom X. And once you have a Venom X and an arc on your gun, you don't need to go into any more side paths unless you want money. At the end, if there's a hive and you're like, oh no, I have no cash, you go into a side path, kill the mammoth, and there, boom, you go, 2,000 free dollars, and it's just super easy. So that is basically the trick for that. If you need instant cash at the end of the hive, you see that you're broke, there it is. Those mammoths are literally a giant dollar sign for you. Okay? So, that is basically it for the mammoths. Next is rhinos. Rhinos, they actually never come unless you activate them on the side path. You won't find them anywhere unless you activate them on the side path until you get to the Cortex. So, all 15 obelisks, you won't see a single rhino. I know that sounds crazy, like right now that I'm saying it, but if you guys haven't noticed, there are no rhinos until you get to that section. So that makes this game a lot easier for beating. So that comes there. Next, gargoyles. Gargoyles present a huge issue, so you want to be able to kill them really fast. I recommend having an assault rifle or SMG or something where you have range. So if you are like me and you like to use a bulldog, I would try go for 2 primary weapons and hold a bulldog and something else, so that way I could kill gargoyles fast. Cause if you're a maxed out weapon specialist, it takes around 1 mag to kill a gargoyle. Even less than that if you're hitting every single one of your shots. But gargoyles do shred your health, and you will find them quite often. Phantoms and all the other stuff, they aren't much of your work. It's those gargoyles that present the biggest issue. So, that comes out. You want to have a riot shield on your back a lot of the time, especially once you get into the second area. But right now, I'm a little bit lazy, and I just use armor and ammo. I don't need a riot shield yet. Another thing you need to be wary about is that instead of getting all the harder challenges later in this map actually works weirdly, where you get some really difficult challenges in the beginning. So like the harder challenges for you, which is going to be don't reload for 60 seconds, because that one's going to be a pain since you're going to be a gun user. That's going to be a hard challenge. Another hard challenge is going to be don't use abilities, because that's always a hard challenge. No matter what map you're playing, that's an annoying and frustrating challenge. And then you also get don't spend money usually, really early on. So those are going to be your troublesome. But if you can get through the first area, usually the rest of the map is a breeze, because you'll have skill points and you'll be able to do everything. Now, I like to spec into it where I go first into +3 for weapon specialists, and that way I get faster reload speed. And then I go +2 into ammo and +2 into armor. I usually divide up, so I go 1, 1, 2, 2. And then I go and max out weapon specialists. So by the time I have to activate the Vanguard, I have maxed out weapon specialists. +2 into ammo, and +2 into armor. You don't really need them maxed out really early on, either one of them, so that faster reload speed is more important, so that's why I go for that first. And ammo, if you can be, you don't need much ammo, so that's why you don't need it at +4 right away, and neither for armor. You can be a little bit patient. So for Vanguard, here we are. You just want to basically try and do it as fast as you can, and what I try to do is that I am always moving on the Vanguard. So you see this, I'm not really standing still while in the van. I'm not just staying in one spot with it and shooting at the hive. You want to strafe around, and you want to just keep on moving, because if those scorpions hit you, oh, that Vanguard's gonna be gone in an instant. So you really need something covering it. But since you're a solo player, you can't really cover your own Vanguard, so what you gotta do is that you just gotta speed through it, strafe, do all that stuff, and that's basically what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to dodge those scorpion hits. You saw what I was doing. And that really makes this game a lot easier when you can dodge like that. Like, look, just keep strafing, keep moving, and you'll always be safe. But it does get a little bit hard. It's hard to actually get perfect. I've yet to have a perfect Vanguard on solo, but I don't think it's possible because you don't have anyone to cover you. So you just get right back on it. Plus, when you're on it, you're invincible. You don't take damage. There's this bubble around you where you can't get hurt. So that makes it really nice for when you have to do the Vanguard and destroy the obelisk. So that is basically the strategy. After this, you can get into the second area. Second area, remember, if you do not receive a Venom X yet, this is when you want to search. You want to go through all 3 side paths. If you want to know the side path locations, you can look in one of my previous videos in order to find them out. But you just go into the side paths, get your free money from the mammoths, because after all, it doesn't take much to kill a mammoth. It takes like 2 mags with armor piercing rounds on a arc gun, or a bulldog. It takes like 8 bullets. It's something really small. Like, it's so easy to kill. So mammoths shouldn't be really a worry unless you're at the beginning. So right here we're gonna be on the second area. I like to use a Remington. Now my favorite guns for solo are a bulldog, Remington, chainsaw, and K7. Those are my 4 main weapons I like to go to. Remington is a really good assault rifle, has really low recoil, a lot of damage, holds a lot of ammo. I feel like it's a better version of the Maverick, to be honest. Now the K7, I prefer it to the Ripper just because it holds more ammo. That is basically it. So either or, Remington or K7 is good. It's just Remington fits a little bit better just because with the Remington, there's less recoil, and also it has more damage over long range. It doesn't lose as much damage from shooting afar, and the main reason why you have an assault rifle over a shotgun is because you need to shoot those gargoyles from far away. So we're speeding through it. Alright. The strange thing about Awakening, though, is that you don't earn more score for hives in the second area and the third area. They are consistent across the board. Note, when doing solo, you want to use Venom X a lot. Venom X is very useful. You can get by using most of your kills off of Venom X and Vultures. Like, it does a lot of work. And you don't need to be that careful with the ammo. You can spend it. But another thing I like to do is that when I am using a Venom X, I try to go for having it at 0 in the mag and then 2 left over before picking up another Venom X ammo. Because that way it brings you straight to 2 and 4. So you actually get the 4 actual bullets. For some reason, in a update some time ago, I don't remember, I think it was when Chaos Mode was added, when you replenish your Venom X, it doesn't just flat out give you 4 extra bullets. It now does something weirder, like it tries to bring you to 2 and 2, but if you have 0 and 2, it brings you to 2 and 4, so that actually makes it a lot easier. For the second area specking, what you want to go for is that since you have already maxed out weapon specialist plus 2 into ammo and armor, you want to max out ammo and armor and then move straight to treasures. when you move straight to vultures, after you max that out, you want to go for either pistols or riot shield. It's whichever one you prefer. I like going for pistols just because I have akimbo pistols, and it's kind of nice to have something to rely on and press Y and switch to. I am not a big fan of having multiple things in my rotation, so that is something for me. So like, if I need to get a second weapon, I would try to avoid it. I don't like having two primary weapons usually. So in this game, I'm just going to be sticking with a Remington and akimbo pistols. But that is basically it. Alright, so here I'll be activating the Vanguard again, finishing up the second area. Once you finish the first and second area, there's actually not much more to the map. These first two areas are the actual bulk of the map. This is where you spend most of your gameplay. So you can see I'm doing the same strategy. I'm strafing and shooting as I'm trying to destroy the hive. It is actually essential for doing this. Now, this area is actually a little bit easier to do the Vanguard, just for the reason that it's more enclosed, so basically they can't hit you from anywhere. Like, if you're in the first area, it's entirely open space. The scorpion could be anywhere on the field and they can see you and they'll be shooting at you. This, they have to like jump around if you're moving from side to side and everything. But you also want to note, for this obelisk, you want to stay up high, because if you don't stay up high, you're going to be, what's happening is that the hunters are going to swipe you, and each time a hunter swipes you, oh my god, you lose so much health on that Vanguard, and you won't believe it. Like, it'll just go down an instant. So that is basically it for the Vanguard. You just keep picking it up, finishing it. Just grind through those obelisks, because it does take a couple of tries. You're probably not going to get on your first one. Most likely your second or third. Hopefully not the fourth, because once you start letting them all in, once you take a lot of time, oh my god, there's going to be so many enemies that it just gets harder and harder. So you want to do things fast. That's why you don't waste much time actually using the Vanguard to kill scorpions and guard yourself. You want to actually go for the obelisk right away. Also note, when the Vanguard ends, what happens is that all the enemies will spawn after you, so you gotta be careful, because all hell breaks loose. It gets really intense and you gotta be on your feet. You don't think that you have a free break. It gets really hectic. So here I just finished the second area, finished the obelisk and Vanguard, and now for this part, I'm about to be in the third area, and what you gotta do is, for the third area, it matters on your cache whether you want to go and activate the mammoths or not. I ended up not activating the mammoths, and it was a lot easier like that, because I didn't need to bother myself killing it, and plus it was like backup cash. Like I said, if I had to spurge money on one hive because I was dying or something, I actually was able to, because I know I have something to fall back on. I had a bank. So that made my game a lot easier, and I was able to have a lot more freedom. Please, on this third area, you're likely to get 2 challenges. I usually get knife a gargoyle and kill 5 enemies with traps. So you want to know where all the fire traps are. There are 4 fire traps in this area, 2 in the center, 1 by the obelisk on the right, and 1 by the obelisk on the left. So that is kind of important to know, because that challenge is very hard, because the fire traps are not that powerful. If you're going for a completionist, it's going to be a little bit tough. So you can see actually that it's not that hard using a Remington for everything, because it actually kills enemies really fast. Like, unless you're inaccurate like I am. But see these scouts, they drop in like 2 bullets, so that's why I'm just hip firing, because it doesn't matter that much. And after you activate these 3 obelisks, you're gonna enter the Cortex area. The Cortex, you gotta fill it up, and it actually is dependent upon how well you guard it. Because if you can guard it well, then it goes by really fast. If you keep letting the terminals go to red, it's gonna take quite a while longer. But then again, you're also gonna be encountering your first few real rhinos in that while filling up the Cortex. It doesn't really get that hard, so good luck, I guess. But here we are. I have akimbo pistols. I got ammo, armor of maxed out vulture. This is the area where I spam the vulture most because you actually get a lot of money in this area. Because of the rhinos, what you could do is that you could activate the Cortex when rhinos start coming, and then poof, all the rhinos die, but you get the cash. So basically, you don't need to spend any extra bullets. You don't need to worry about them. Just keep that Cortex ready for the rhinos, because there are some times when there's like a bunch of rhinos and phantoms that pop out at once, but you don't need to worry about that if you have the Cortex ready to be activated. Now you can see I stand right here, and look, I can see everything just from sitting in this one spot. Now, I don't see this place working that well for turrets, because I don't think you can plant a turret facing this area, but who knows. You can, another strategy that I do is that I also activate the Cortex as much as possible, because the kills that the Cortex gets fills up the Cortex again. So if you just keep doing that again, you can keep recycling it, and that's how you do it the fastest way. But you'll be encountering much more rhinos, and you won't be able to have that instant way to take them out. So here we encounter my rhinos. So what I do is I go and activate the Cortex, and then it's just gonna instantly die. Now, it actually is a lot easier than it is, but there is one small problem that you can sometimes get. There's this electrical ball that actually hurts you. I don't know what causes it, but it randomly appears, I don't know when. So I think it's completely a random game mechanic, I don't know, but it will appear and it sometimes attacks you over there. So you might need to head out every once in a while, you might need to like move around, but usually what I just do is I hop onto the other side of it, and I can still see mostly everything. You can't really see the bottom ones from the other side, because you can see that this that opening is on an angle, so from another side. And you see that I'm getting zapped by this electrical ball. So I just hop on to the other side, and it's easy again, and then the ball disappears, so I can go back. Now, as you can see, there are actually, you get a lot more rhinos, but fortunately, you can activate the Cortex whenever you need, and they'll just die. You only have to put a single bullet into it. It's actually a lot easier than it seems. The only issue is getting out of the way of that electrical ball. Now, you want to be on your toes for when this actual area ends, because you don't get, like, it's not like point of contact where you have to, where you get a chance to activate the nuke. What ends up happening is that immediately, once the Cortex is filled, it starts the defrosting of the masters. So you have 5 minutes to get out of there. So you just poof, you just gotta run, sprint, go as fast as you can. But even if the Cortex is activated and you can't activate it to kill the rhinos and phantoms, you can see that it's actually really easy to kill them. But you do get a lot of phantoms. Phantoms do get kind of tedious because they hop around and everything, and they shred the terminals. Those terminals die really fast to them. Especially if you're playing co-op, you're just gonna see it go down in an instant. Like, you have your back turned away, and then you see a phantom over there, your terminal's red. But luckily, in solo, it takes a lot more damage in order for it to actually turn to red and become useless. Now you see I'm getting close, so I'm getting ready to sprint soon. You want to make sure you have a near full armor when you start the sprint. So here you're going to see me grab it right away. And now a cool thing that you can do is that you can just press the right trigger to activate the Cortex, and it releases like this pulse that kills the aliens right behind you. So it's really nice. So you can see me use it again if you haven't seen it before. Poof, everything goes by. And I find that really useful for when running away from everything, because you can just keep spamming it. Like you can see, it says infinite ammo under that Cortex, so you can just keep killing with it. So what you do is that you take these Cortexes to these walls, and you'll get a rhino to pop out each one. If you have a vulture out and you have your Remington ready, it'll be fast. Now a big thing that you have to worry about is those bombers. These bombers are how you actually fill up the Cortex the fastest way in this area. If you are not ready on those bombers, it's gonna take a lot longer, because the Cortex actually gets killed. It gets filled, doesn't matter what kind of alien it is, but if something dies, it gets filled. So those bombers are basically easy pickings. Now another thing you could try doing if you want is you could actually have the Easter egg activated, and if you see that there was an egg above me, what you could have done is that you could have shot it, so that way you have the full ferals and the fast hands for the rest of the run out, which is actually a popular strategy for co-op. You don't need to actually necessarily do it for solo. It makes it a little bit easier, but you don't necessarily need it, so I didn't bother. I was just kind of speedrunning it. But you can't be too, like, you can't save too much money on this run out, because you need to be buying armor. If you don't buy enough armor, you're going to get screwed really fast in this. So you want to make sure that you just keep on buying it, because you go through health very fast. There's a lot of enemies coming, and there's a mixture of everything. There's like scorpions, hunters, phantoms, rhinos. The whole kit and caboodle is after you, so you gotta be on your toes. One thing I sometimes do is that I throw the flare into the center and activate the electric trap. I didn't bother really activating the electric trap for this one. I just basically just sat on the Cortex because I just wanted to get the hell out of here. But throwing a flare, saving a flare for the final one makes it a lot easier. But you want to make sure that you are ready for those bombers, because again, those bombers are an easy way to fill it up, and that's a secure way to get platinum basically. So you can see here, we're at the very end of the game. We're going to get platinum because we're going to make it in by 140. So that is how to beat Awakening Solo. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something new. And I hope all of you guys have a great day. See ya.